Hey guys, I was broke until I did this one thing that I'm going to share with you on this video. Now, I started my money journey more than 20 years ago. I was 30 years old. I had zero, zilch, nothing. I had a negative net worth. I owned a 1996 Honda Civic. It was a four-door green Honda Civic, and it was a stick shift. And I owed about $25,000 on student loans. Now, what I'm going to share with you on this video is the absolute first thing that I began to do that changed the whole trajectory of my financial situation the rest of my life. Fast forward just over 20 years later today, and I'm doing very, very well when it comes to finances. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is not a secret. All of you can do exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video. So let's get right to it. The one thing that I had to do to change my financial situation for the rest of my life is I had to begin to think differently about money. Because the way I had thought about money up to that point, up to being 30 years old, that had led me to poverty, that way of thinking. So I had to do a shift to change how I thought about money. Guys, I come from a poverty situation because, guys, that's where I came from. I came from a family that didn't have a whole lot, where I was poor for the most part growing up. Now, I did have a mother who, thankfully, while we were poor, she still was able to help me believe that there was more out there for me. But for the most part, it was a poor upbringing. And I carried that poor way of thinking about money into adulthood. And that's why I could end up 30 years old with a negative net worth, because I still had a mindset of lack. I was kind of stuck with some poverty ways of thinking when it came to money that allowed me not to be where I wanted to be financially at 30 years old. And so it was just like the theme song to the show Good Times, right? You know, keeping your head underwater, making a way when you can, temporary layoffs and all that. That was sort of my theme song up until I was about 30 years old. I was accustomed to thinking like a poor person. And the reason I know that is because I had poor outcomes. I didn't have money. And so the fact that I didn't have money gives me an indication that I was thinking poor. So I had to start gaining new knowledge. I had to start getting new information, putting new stuff in my head about money. And then not just putting new information in my head about money, I had to start learning how to apply that new information about money. It's not enough just to know something and have knowledge. You have to apply that knowledge in order for it to become effective and activate in your life. And I started in the late 90s, right around 1999 or so. I started listening to some of the late night infomercials about real estate. And there was a guy on there that would come on at night named Carlton Sheets. And Carlton Sheets had a no money down real estate system that he would sell you, right? He would sell cassette tapes and it would explain to you how to go about no money down stuff. Now, Carlton Sheets went bankrupt, right? But what that was able to do was to plant some seeds in my mind about what was possible, about what could be, about what I could become in terms of money and real estate. So I bought the package for $300 or $400 and I began listening to these cassette tapes about how to buy real estate with no money down. And I started believing. Now here I am at 30 years old. I had never even lived in a property owned by anybody I knew. It was apartments and it was renting houses and renting apartments all of my life till I was 30 years old. But something clicked in me, in my brain, that said, you know what? I can do this. I can own some property too. I can be wealthy too. And so it began to click in me, and it first had to click in my brain, in the way I was thinking about money, about real estate, and about becoming wealthy. Now, you got to remember, guys, this is long before everybody was on the internet. There was no YouTube. There was no social media. I had to go to the library, check out books. I had to buy those cassette tapes and listen to those tapes. And I had to use my imagination. I had to use my vision. And I had to go seeking out the information that I wanted, right? And the inspiration that I needed to move into action. I had to start running the compound interest tables to learn and figure out what could I make if I did this, that, or the other. I had to start writing things down. I had to come up with goals and where I wanted to be. I had to come up with an action plan to where I wanted to get to in order to have what I knew now that I could have in my mind. So I used to do this stuff. I used to do this stuff all the time on pieces of paper, notebook paper. right? There was no apps. There was no cell phones. And there was nobody I could click on to a YouTube channel and watch for 8 hours of straight motivation or 12 straight hours of inspiration about how to do this and how to do that. There was no instructions like that. I had to read and I had to go out and find out how to get it done and do it. But it all started in my mind. I had to begin to develop a philosophy about money and start to think about money in terms of abundance, in terms of what could be, not what I had. Because remember, I had nothing up until I was 30 years old, zero, with a negative net worth. So it's not about what I had. It's about what could be, what's out there in the future, the dreams, the visions, the goals. That's what I had to do. That's what started me. And that is what propelled and started my financial journey more than 20 years ago, right? It was about changing the values I had associated with money and then making sure those values spoke to my own personal core values. So I began to understand money a lot better. I began to understand the purpose of money. I began to understand money's potential. And most importantly, I began to learn and understand money's limitations. I learned to put money in its proper place, but I had to first believe that I could have money. And I started going to church about 2001. And I learned the value of giving, the value of helping other people, the value of providing services to help others. Whether it was my energy, my gift, my time, whatever it was, what could I give to help other people? And part of that was giving money. And all of this further shaped my understanding of what was possible with money. And ultimately, I began to understand that money is just one tool. It's just one type of currency that's out there in terms of the wealth building processes. There's many, many tools of wealth building. There's many, many currencies that are available and out there to us that don't have to do with money. Whether it's time, whether it's education, whether it's skills, whether it's a network of people that are all pulling in the same direction that you can lean on and talk to, and they can help you and you can help them. Whether it's information, labor, or what I like to call labor, other people's time, planning, land, real estate, the stock market, doing a budget, your job. Hey, all of those things are currency. All of those things are tools of wealth building. So it's more than about just money. Money is one piece, but I had to get that in my mind first, right? I had to understand that through a process of learning and gathering new information, gathering new knowledge, and changing the way I thought about money from a poverty type of mindset to a more of an abundance type of mindset. And I also had to come to this revelation, guys. The revelation that, listen, where I was with money at 30 years old was based on what I knew and understand and learned about money up to that point. Guys, do me a favor, smash the like button below if you're getting anything out of this video. I had to learn ultimately, guys, that my thoughts about money is what shaped my beliefs about money. And my beliefs about money is what propelled my actions with money. And my actions with money is what led to my outcomes with money. And ultimately, that led to either I was going to have money or I was going to be broke. And so I had to change this whole way of thinking around to understand that the person in the mirror was responsible for where I was with money. And I know some of you may be saying, dude, what are you talking about? I have to eat today. I can't just rely on first having a money mindset or the way I think about money, right? You may be thinking that, but I'm going to say back to you, dude, yes, it's all about how you think about money. That's first. That brain of yours is powerful. It will either keep you broke or it will help you build wealth. I guarantee you. When I began to understand that how I thought about money and my wealth building started in my mind, things changed for me forever, drastically. Listen, your belief system has more to do with where you are with money right now than anything else in the world. And the other thing is this, when you understand that money is about how you think about it first, you begin to sort of view money in a whole different perspective. In your mind, you have to expect good outcomes. In your mind, you got to expect abundance. In your mind, you got to first believe that it can be done and you can do it. My mindset was the very first thing that I focused on. It was the very first thing that I began to do to change my situation in terms of my finances. I had to change my mindset before I really could worry too much about my credit, right? I had to change my mindset before I worried about, hey, side gigs. I had to change my mindset before I bought my first piece of rental property. So hey guys, in this quick video, I just wanted to share my experience. I want to share with you the first thing that I had to do when I began to turn my whole money situation around. I wanted to share with you something that I know that all of you can do right now to change your money situation. I don't care if you're 30 years old today. I don't care if you're 50 or 60 years old, but you always have an opportunity to change. As long as you're breathing and blinking on this earth, there's an opportunity for you to make a difference and for you to change and do things differently to make your future different, especially when it comes to money. So, hey guys, do me a favor and let me know in the comments below, what is your thought process about the money mindset or a wealth building mindset? Do you believe it, or do you just think it's not really as important as most people say? Let's continue that discussion in the comments below. If you got anything at all out of this video, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I got more videos like this to come because I want to go through the other 3 things that I had to do to change my money situation. It wasn't just mindset. It started with how I thought, but there were other things to it. I'm going to be sharing more videos about that. And also do me a favor and check out some of these videos I put right here about how to change and how to develop a money mindset, and also how to develop your own personal philosophy about money. Hey, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Do me a favor, guys, take care of yourself and always, always take care of other people. Until the next video, peace!